Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this episode of The Dan Dawson Show. So, this is another episode of Dan Helps Mainstream Media Write Accurate News. Now, I know what you're thinking. Dan, why aren't you charging for your editorial services? Well, I feel this is more of a public service. You know, you should really get into helping people. I know what you guys are thinking. That Dan guy is so generous. He helped that last lady rewrite her article and it came out great. But here we are again. And it's my duty. Just when you thought Dan couldn't get any more generous, he has. So let's help rewrite this article. It's from CNN, or like I like to call it, the liberal news network. It says Portland Proud Boys rally unfolds amid tense counter demonstrations by Ray Sanchez and Anna Maja Rapard. It's dated September 28th, 2020. That was Monday, yesterday. This article came out. So, shows a picture of yelling Proud Boys, and they have the Blue Lions flag. They have the American flag. I see a Trump flag. I see a lot of American flags. Good for them. Good for them. Because we as Americans should be flying the American flag, not burning it in the streets like a bunch of rabid idiots. So, the article starts off, members of the far-right Proud Boys, so let me correct that there. It should be members of the Patriots, the Patriot Group Proud Boys, because they are patriots. Some carrying firearms and wearing body armor. It should read, some carrying firearms and wearing body armor because that's our body armor, because that's what Black Lives Matter does. Yes, they're shooting cops in the street. They're wearing body armor. So, if you're going to go protest somewhere or demonstrate, you probably should wear that. Masked at a rally on Saturday in Portland, Oregon, as counter rallies unfolded nearby and officials in the tense city braced for violence. Now, what it should read is, masked at a rally on Saturday in Portland, Oregon, to counter-protest violent left-wing extremists, as officials reeled from the 100 and something days of violent riots that BLM has been supporting over in Portland. It goes on to say, at least 3 people were arrested. Nearly 1,500 people gathered at 2 of the 3 rallies, according to the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office. What it should read, because I saw this on the news, those 3 people were arrested for trying to run Proud Boys over in a parking lot. So that's what it should read. 3 Black Lives Matter rioters arrested. The Proud Boys event started about noon Pacific time with speeches by group leader Enrique Tarrio. And I've seen him, Cuban guy, actually very good speaker. Love this guy. I'd love to get him on the show. So if any of you have contact with him, we'll Zoom. I'll, interview him. And other supporters. Some rally goers carried baseball bats. See, what they're trying to do here is make it look like the Proud Boys were violent. But the Proud Boys never approached Black Lives Matter. They have their own little thing, their own little rally. Never mind that Black Lives Matter has been burning Portland down for almost 4 freaking months. And nobody's done anything. Others held President Trump campaign signs. Protective shields were handed out from a van. See, what they're trying to do is make the Proud Boys sound violent when they're not. They're carrying stuff for protection. They're trying to link President Trump to right-wing violence. But see, the Proud Boys aren't stupid. See, when their leaders say stop, they stop. They actually follow orders. They understand the chain of command and who has authority where. Unlike Black Lives Matter, that's why your rallies are out in the streets burning up cop cars and burning out people's stores. And honestly, you know what? If you're in that situation, if you're going to go to a counter rally, take a shield. Matter of fact, if you're driving your car down the street with these people anywhere in your vicinity, take a shield. So it goes on to say, and this is a quote from, who's this from? Oh, the sheriff's office via Twitter. We were aware that shields are being displayed at both event locations. We want everyone to be safe, So we will seize weapons and shields as can be done safely and as resources allow. So you've had 4 months of Antifa and BLM burning down your damn cities, and you haven't seized weapons or shields yet. Really? You sound like a clown. See, this is why Portland's in the shape it's in. Portland and Seattle, in New York, in San Francisco, in Los Angeles, in Minneapolis, all these liberal havens, idiots. The sheriff's office estimated 1,000 people attended the Proud Boys rally at Delta Park in North Portland. That's a lot of people. The Delta Park rally unfolded near 2 other events, one by an anti-fascist group commonly referred to as Antifa at Peninsula Park, and one by Black Lives Matter supporters at historic Vanport, Coin reported. The sheriff's office estimated there were 450 people at Peninsula Park. So how this should read, the Delta Park riot, or the Delta Park rally, unfolded near 2 other events. One by the super fascists. If you don't do what we say, we're going to shame you. We're going to harass you. We will beat you. If you're black and you don't do what we say, we don't care if you're 73. We will stab you in the back like the cowards we are. Antifa group at Peninsula Park. And one by Black Lives Matter, who are super racist. It should read, and one by Black Lives Matter young white people supporters who constantly harass and make racial slurs at black people. The sheriff's office estimated there were 450 people at Peninsula Park. What it should read is, Antifa had a weak turnout compared to the Proud Boys, and we're afraid of them because they're not going to deal with anybody who's going to put foot in that ass. Let's just be real about it. Bunch of whiny punks. The sheriff's office said in a Twitter post it was investigating an incident in which a man documenting the Delta Park rally was assaulted. And that's the event I was telling you about. Black Lives Matter. A guy has a camera. They don't want it filmed now because guess what? Trump is hitting these people with federal charges. And now they're afraid of being filmed. When every other day they were on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter and posting their little stupid videos. The streets of Portland have been an epicenter for months of sometimes violent demonstrations against police brutality and systemic racism. Now, how that sentence should read, the streets of this hellhole Portland, Oregon, have been the epicenter of crime, riots, destruction, physical abuse, bullying for 4 months. 4 months. You know, these demonstrations, and it should finish out, these demonstrations against police brutality and systemic racism are a bunch of bullcrap. They hardly care about police brutality or systemic racism. They're a bunch of spoiled kids who run around and burn things down. See one of my earlier videos for that? Makes perfect sense. Organizers of the Proud Boys rally called it a free speech event in support of the president, the police, and law and order. They vowed to condemn anti-fascists and what they call domestic terrorism. Now, the only thing they changed about that sentence is they vowed to condemn fascist, Nazis, and domestic terrorists, because BLM and Antifa are just the new age Nazis. They go around intimidating people. You can't eat outside at your restaurant because they're gonna come up with the black fist and you got to say Black Lives Matter. Let's say I put a couple of rounds in your chest and we call it a day. We'll call it even. That'll be my tip. It says Proud Boys is far-right extremist. It didn't say A. It actually said far-right extremist organization. This is how you can tell the person writing this doesn't even believe what the hell they're writing. That has been designated as a hate group by the Southern Poverty Law Center. The founder of the Proud Boys is suing the Southern Poverty Law Center for designating the organization a hate group. Well, their second in command, I guess it would be like their vice president, is Cuban. They have plenty of black and Mexican and Hispanic members. I think they even got a couple of Asian members. So I don't get how you designate them as a hate group, but you won't speak on BLM or Antifa. I'm just going to lump them all in because they're running together. You won't speak on Black Lives Matter because Antifa is now part of Black Lives Matter, whether you want to admit it or not. To me, it's ridiculous. The speaker at Saturday's Proud Boys rally urged supporters to run for all local offices possible and infiltrate all agencies. Some people attending the rally registered to vote. Several people pointed out supposed Antifa supporters in the crowd and chased them away. That's a pretty decent paragraph. You know, the media should be proud that these guys are getting people registered to vote, right? Isn't that the whole thing? Didn't LeBron wear a Vote or Die t-shirt? Punk ass. So it says several people pointed out supposed Antifa supporters in the crowd and chased them away. When really, if you look at the news coverage, these people were in the crowd causing problems, yelling at people. So yeah, they should have chased them away. But I thought BLM was big, bad, and proud. Hold your ground. No, you didn't want to hold your ground there, did you? Anyway, Oregon's Democratic Governor Kate Brown gave Oregon State Police and Multnomah County Sheriff's Office emergency authority on Friday to take over city security in the city this weekend. She declared state of emergency to boost the number of law enforcement officers and allow the use of tear gas. See, here's what happened in Portland a few weeks ago. They said, no, we're not going to let the cops use tear gas on Black Lives Matter protesters. They took that ability away from police. But see, when the Proud Boys show up, now they want to use it. Well, you're running a double standard. Like Judy Jerkin. It's Summer of Love, right? Never mind that they followed or they went to the mayor of Portland's house, apartment, whatever, condo, to try to burn it down. Never mind that, right? This article, I don't even know if I can rewrite this article. Hold up, it's not that much more. Hang in there with me, people, please. The pattern of these particular group is clear. To intimidate and instigate and inflame, she said. And these types of demonstrations in the past have ended in fistfights and sometimes escalated to bloodshed. Your effing city has been on fire for 4 months. The hell are you talking about? Oh, idiot, I hate liberals. This Kate Brown woman, boy, I don't know how she ever got. Boy, people have this idealistic view. That's what the liberals do. They do their idealistic thing. Reality is your city's been on fire for 4 months. The mayor of your city of Portland had to leave his residence. But what about all the people in that condo who are just making ends meet who can't leave that residence? Now it's a target. So what are you people in Portland doing? Idiots. Woo. Okay, so Portland officers have been serving on the front lines of nightly riots. The article says protests. It should be strike that, change it to riots for months. Sustaining injuries and encountering unspeakable violence. State Police Superintendent Travis Hampton said, if I am to send them into harm's way this weekend, on my authority, I'm going to ensure they have all the protection and authority of an OSP trooper. It's Oregon State Patrol. And if you don't know, Trump just martialized the Oregon State Patrol. So now they do federal arrests. Because what was happening in Portland is they'd arrest these rioters for burning down things, committing violent assaults, harassing people, attacking police, trying to permanently blind police. And the city prosecutor wouldn't prosecute, and he would just let them out the next day. You know, I did a video on that. Officials say they do not want out-of-state groups to protest in the city and denied the Proud Boys a permit to have a rally in a public park, citing coronavirus concerns. Your city has been rioting and on fire for 4 months. Screw not wanting to hand them a permit. You might want to actually cover their fees to come in. The hell's wrong with you people? But Deputy Police Chief Chris Davis said Thursday the city expected protesters to number somewhere in the thousands. Local officials and the Trump administration have clashed over how to handle the city's protests. Strike protests, put riots, tension escalated. Boy, these people cannot write an article. I mean, I'm reading this verbatim, and you can see their grammar mistakes. It's like, where'd you go to school? Did you get out of grade school? Doesn't look like you did. Tension escalated after the administration dispatched federal agents to the city as to guard federal buildings and monuments, which they're supposed to do. In late August, A right-wing group supporter, Aaron Danielson, was shot and killed there during clashes between pro-Trump groups and left-wing demonstrators. Months of protests have led to damaged buildings, injured police and rioters, and hundreds of arrests. So the Aaron Danielson thing, I saw the video. He wasn't messing with anybody. He's just walking around. It's him and a friend, had his Trump hat on. And you could see these guys are like, oh, go get him. We got two right there. Go get him. And dude just runs up to him and executes him. And so that wasn't a clash. No, that was an execution. And once again, where it says injured police and protesters, let's strike protesters, put rioters. The protests against police brutality and racial injustice began after the death of George Floyd in Minneapolis. While police, see, it's supposed to be while in police custody in late May. It says while police custody in late May. Who's the editor of this crap? Who is the editor of this bullshit? This is ridiculous. They picked up after Wisconsin police shot Jacob Blake. Then, on August 29th, during the clash between protesters and Trump supporters, Danielson was fatally shot. So let me rewrite that last paragraph, and I'm going to leave off there. This video went a little longer than I thought it would, but hey, sometimes that happens. The protests against law and order and some fake racial BS began after George Floyd resisted arrest and overdose on a large amount of fentanyl. They picked up after Wisconsin police shot Jacob Blake, who was attacking a woman who had previously allegedly sexually assaulted and who had a restraining order against him and was attempting to kidnap her child and steal her car. Then on August 29th, during the clash between protesters and Trump supporters, Aaron Danielson was assassinated by a low-life piece of shit Black Lives Matter member who later died in a shootout with police. So, if you hung with that, God bless you. I thank you. Because I don't even think I could hang with it. It just needed so much rewriting. You know what? I'm going to have to start charging for my editorial services. What do you guys think? If you have an article you want Dan to rewrite, send it to me. I'll rewrite the article. Hopefully it's not as badly written as this one, because not only did I have to actually put the truth in there, I had to make grammar corrections. So as you're reading it and you're trying to make grammar corrections, it just gets crazy. But I hope you enjoy your new article. You're welcome, CNN. You will be getting my bill in the mail. So thank you for watching this episode of the Dan Dawson Show. Remember, like and subscribe. Do what you gotta do.